am in the mood for a film.
All right, that'd be the best thing I think for everybody.
I'm more than happy to go in and analyze them. In fact, I'm looking forward to it.
It's my job.
If you are what I think you are, then you'll know when to listen, when to shut up, and when to pray.
Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today on FilmBhais. We are going to be discussing RRR and going through what makes the movie great, and also we will be discussing the downsides of it. But all in all, the movie's great, and we are going to love sharing our opinions with you today.
Yeah, so this episode went a bit out of hand, didn't it? So once we started talking, we ended up analyzing every aspect of the movie. So this conversation went on for 3 hours, so we'll be releasing this in parts. So feel free to leave any comments on what you thought about the analysis. And overall, we're going to have even more to say about RRR. We spoke for 3 hours, but I don't think we covered everything, did we?
No,
we probably have more to say, right?
Yes, that's a lot more. And even now, thinking of it, I'm disappointed we missed a couple of bits. But like I said, there's a lot, and we're going to be doing this release in segments. So don't worry if you don't find something that you've heard in the first segment, you will find it in other segments. So do stay with us and listen till the end.
Yes. All right, let's get into it.
స్కాట్ ద్వారా వారు మా ఆదిలాబాద్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఓ చిన్నపిల్లని తీసుకొచ్చారు. మీరు తీసుకొచ్చింది గోండ్ల పిల్లనండి.
అయితే వాళ్ళకి ఏమైనా 2 కొమ్ములు ఉంటాయా?
ఒక కాపరుంటాడు.
We both watched it. We both think it's a wonderful movie. It is a movie that, from a historical point of view, taking 2 characters, making a fictional story, and combining the 2, and then making an epic movie, it's brilliant. And the fact that the way it was brought about to combine those 2 freedom fighters, on paper you think it's ludicrous. How can you mix the 2? But the way it was done, the way it was portrayed, I really like the way it came about. And I think he's done a brilliant job.
Here. Could not agree more, man. Could not agree more. If you had told me about this movie just as a synopsis before the movie came out, 2 freedom fighters in the 1920s take on the British Raj, I would be like, oh yeah, that sounds terrible. Yeah. Let's support this. On paper, there's nothing about this movie should work, but together it's beautiful, man. So yeah, did you know about this movie before it came out? Were you in the hype? Because I was not. Because the movie was announced back in 2019?
Yeah.
2018?
Yeah, and I followed every step of it, man. I followed every step of every announcement they made and everything. Even when they revealed the motion posters, even though there was nothing to it, I watched it. I'm like, yeah, it was just pretty much a silhouette, man. I'm like, wow. And then you see the posters of them. First one was Junior NTR showing him, and he was represented by water. Then it was
I'm so glad I didn't, man. Because Ram Charan with the fire. I saw the motion posters after the movie came out. I'm so glad I didn't, because without any context, that looks so cheesy. But after I've seen the movie, that is brilliant. I absolutely love it. Because without the context of the storyline, the whole, he's represented by fire, he's represented by water. I was like, yeah, okay.
To me, I was just thinking of, okay, you're going down the silly route. To me, I don't know why, but you might not agree with
I thought it was silly, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw deja vu. Oh, this is Avatar.
Yep, me too, man. Come on. Waterbender, firebender, that's the first freaking thing I thought about.
Yeah, exactly.
For review, I'm going to talk about how much more similarities with the Avatar, The Last Airbender they had. But yeah, at the beginning I was thinking, why are we doing this? This is terrible. But yeah, it works. It freaking works, man.
Yeah, but it's just, again, the thing is, good thing you went in blind, because you didn't have to see that. I was watching it, I was excited, but I was questioning it.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And I'm like, I so want to see your movies, because I respect the director and I think he has great vision and storytelling skills are brilliant. And the way he compiles everything together, I'm like, great. Because I saw Bahubali and I'm like, yes, I want to watch it. And I've seen all these other movies. But when I was like, every single reveal, I was like, I still want to watch it because I'm a big fan of the two actors. Well, I'm more of a big fan of Junior NTR than I am with Ram Charan. But I'm like, I've seen both your movies. I like them. I want to watch this movie because I'm, them two coming together first time. I'm like, I want to watch it. But every step of the way is like, it's cringe. Yeah. Have faith. Yeah. I have faith.
Dude, this is my dream situation of how I watched this movie. I didn't see a single trailer. I didn't know any hype about this movie. I didn't know either of the actors. I've literally never heard their names. Junior NTR and Ram Charan, they're brand new names to me. I've never heard of their names. Never seen their faces, dude. Never seen a poster. Literally never. I could not have gone into this movie more blind in my life. But the only person I knew in this movie is Rajamouli. That's it. Rajamouli is the only person I was aware of. And I can't say I loved Bahubali, but I was impressed by Bahubali. The first one was okay. I was like, yeah, interesting. Bit over the top, but sure, whatever. I'm going to go with it. The second one got a little bit better. But I think I just had issue with the fact that the direction was a bit all over the place, a little bit.
I'm the opposite, bro. I preferred the first one to the second one.
So the first one, I'm going to go really geeky here, so I do apologize. But you know what the last action sequence is happening? In the beginning, the good guys are coming from left to right, and the bad guys are coming from right to left. Awesome. That's how you do an action film. But throughout the action sequence, he kept crossing the line and switching the direction in which people were coming from. That's like mediocre, average student filmmaking mistakes that someone at that level should not make. So I thought, okay, so he clearly does not give a shit about film language. He's just going for the emotion of the scene. He doesn't care that we're orientated. So for me, whenever you're showing an action sequence, it's very important for me to be rooted in the geography. At no point should I be confused. Are those the bad guys? Are those the good guys? I was confused at least 3 or 4 shots. There was this one particular shot where people were retreating, and I think they were supposed to be the bad guys retreating, and I thought that was the good guys retreating because they were going from left to right. I was like, what? And then I was like, oh, okay, he's just switched the camera angle. So things like that, I just thought Rajamouli did not care about. But obviously he does, because in RRR, there is no confusion in geography whatsoever. He has done the action sequences so perfectly, he doesn't cross the line a single time. It's always clear who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, which direction everyone's coming from. And it's beautiful. He's improved so much, dude. Bahubali was, how can I put this? It was an epic, emotional poem. If Bahubali was a poem, RRR is a freaking opera. Like, he has changed it to a different level. He's like, okay, I'm playing on a bigger level now. And I understand why this is a bigger budget film, because, a lot has gone into it. But if you just showed two people, like, completely blind, if you showed them Bahubali and RRR, they would say Bahubali is a bigger budget. But clearly not. You can see that he took the more money and he spent it in the right places. I mean, you talk about the CGI and all that stuff, but CGI is subtle, dude. If you look at the behind-the-scenes VFX breakdown, you will see he's used CGI so well. It's not very flashy. It's not like he used CGI all over the place.
That's what I respect.
Exactly.
Because whenever I see behind the scenes, I love movies and I love to watch how they made it. I don't give a crap about the CGI where, I made this monster from... No, the subtle CGI, like especially in Indian movies where, they don't have high budget, you see the subtle CGI where they expand the building, they expand the location, they might change, our entire location by adding, trees. That's subtle. And that's what I want to see, because it enhances the story, but I don't know it's there. But when I watch like big, massive monsters and all that stuff,
you should notice. You should notice the VFX. Like the famous example is the freaking, what was that? Black Panther, the final showdown sequence. Oh my god, it was so bad. I mean, I couldn't care less who's dying, who's winning, who's getting killed, because the CGI was so bad.
The best way I could sum that up was, they do like things called previs, which is they do a whole sequence of computer animation where they don't do the polished computer animation. They just do like rough models just to show the director, this is how the direction is going to be. This is how the scene is going to be. And to the stunt people, this is how we want you to choreograph it.
Yeah.
But then it just looks like at the end they run out of money and they go, oh, let's just throw this into it.
Let's just use a render. Guys,
Yeah.
we don't have time for this. Let's just, we're just going to go with this. The previs is the final product now. Yeah, but that's such a shame though, because VFX should not take you out of the movie. If anything, it should immerse you into the movie. So yeah, okay,
Yes.
we're going completely on a tangent. So
Yeah.
that was our first experience with RRR. Let's talk about Rajamouli. I kind of talked a little bit about, Bahubali. Bahubali was okay for me. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I liked it. I was very impressed by it. The main movie I was impressed by was freaking Makki, because
Yes.
when I was introduced to Makki, I know the original is called Iga, but I watched the Hindi dub, so I know it as Makki.
Yes,
When I saw the first concept, I just assumed like, come on, man, like this is just silly. It gave me like, what's that Rajnikant film? Ethereum, the robot.
Yeah.
One.
I did.
It gave me that kind of vibe. I thought it was going to be stupid as anything. It was just everything about it looked stupid. But then I watched it, and I was feeling for the stupid housefly. I was like, oh my god, come on, man,
It's
you can
emotions.
do this. Yeah, how?
He knows how to play it.
Dude, he played.
This is spoiler territory, bro. But the ending,
Yeah,
the sacrifice that fly makes.
yeah. I was rooting for a fucking fly, dude. Sorry,
Yes.
but that's how excited I am.
Yes.
I was rooting for a freaking
Yeah.
fly.
And it's not even that though. It's like you don't expect where it goes.
Yeah.
So it's just the way, even the final thing, just the fact that, I mean, if anyone hasn't watched Makki by now, I'm sorry to ruin it for you, but just when he dips himself into the gunpowder and then I'm like, filmmaking, look at the way that he thinks about it. He's like just thinking of the minute detail and then even, focusing. I mean, why would you focus on a CGI animation? But the way he focuses on it and the slow, bro, it killed, man. It killed.
Completely. And I don't know how true this is, but the rumor is people kept telling him that he can only do big budget film with big actors. That's why your movies are a success. And his response to that was, okay, I'm going to make a film where there are no big actors. My main actor is a freaking animated fly. And he still made it work. And not only that, there's actually an interview I saw where NTR Ramarao came to visit Rajamouli at his house, and he was just about to get a bottle of water or something from the fridge. When he opened the fridge, there were a bunch of houseflies in the fridge. And NTR Ramarao was like, what the hell are you doing? And Rajamouli was like, oh yeah, I'm making a film, so I need to see how a fly moves in real life. So he basically cryogenically froze a couple of houseflies so he can, I guess, monitor them to see how a housefly moves. This guy works on a different level. He could have just gone to a natural history documentary and just Googled fly videos or whatever. No. He needs to feel what a fly feels.
Well, see, I could sort of understand that, bro, because when I looked at, I guess it's a documentary for Steven Spielberg, when they looked at how, the first Jurassic Park movie, how the dinosaurs moved. Mm-hmm. And they're like, every single way a dinosaur moved was incorrect. And then in the second one, they actually tried correcting some of the issues. So they got an actual expert to come in and say, this is the issue. Yeah, you're moving that way, but they actually move this way. I'm like, okay, I get you. So the fact that this guy's already thinking of that on his early
from other people's experience. I think that's what's great about it. You would think someone at this level would have an ego, so he wouldn't want to improve. But that's why it wasn't improved by RRR, because you would think someone who's had the highest grossing Indian film of all time, two of them, like Bahubali 1, Bahubali 2, still went away and said, how can I be better? And he became a better director in RRR.
Most people in the film industry say that this is one of the most insecure industries because, you're always worried whether an idea will work or not work, or whether your film will succeed or not, or if you're a first-time director, will I get a second film? But you seem to have had some...
No, I would say I had those fears. I'm not saying I don't have any fears. Even today, I have fears. So if you ask me how RRR is going to do, I don't know. I have a confidence that's because I have followed all due proper processes. I had all the emotions while making the story, while doing it. Everything is falling into place. I have the confidence it will do well. But for sure, I can't say that. So those fears are always with me, but that's a separate channel. And the confidence that I'll make big successful films is also there. Both go
hand in hand.
Not hand in. So intertwined with each other.
Wow,
You know?
that's amazing.
I don't need you to tell me what to do. Just give me the money and shut up. But
Exactly.
no,
Nope.
he did that. That's why I think, even though I like Bahubali, I just thought, dude, he did so well on this one. What on earth was he doing in Bahubali, bro? Because as long as, as good as Bahubali was, and as much money as it made, it was not a polished movie.
It wasn't, man. That's what I mean. It wasn't polished. There was something off. I can't put my finger on it, but it wasn't perfect.
No,
I don't want to
this
say
one,
perfect, but pretty close, man. Pretty damn close.
this one, bro, as soon as I started watching it, my first time, I was hooked. And this is no, setup pieces, because you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't start fully. I mean, the title sequence isn't in it until like a long way into the movie.
Yeah.
I think what, 40 minutes into it?
40 minutes. You can just tell you're in the hand of a master. Okay, we will kind of get to the review of this now. We kind of have to. We have to spoil this now. But just as a preamble, how many times have you seen it so far? Like from the beginning to end?
3 times.
3 times. Okay, I've seen it 8 times now. I'm
Wow.
embarrassed to say. Yeah, the first time I watched it by myself without any expectations, and I was blown away. I didn't know what the hell I watched. The next day, a friend came over, and we were going to sit down and watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I had already seen Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is, again, a great film. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. And I honestly did not think I would see a movie more bonkers than that year. But then I saw RRR. And my friend's like, oh, yeah, let's watch that movie. I was like, wait, hold up 1 second. There's another movie I want to show you, which is so crazy. I need to be certain that it is as good as I think it is without watching any trailer. Would you mind just watching the film? He's like, yeah, let's put it on. We'll give it half an hour. And my friend was completely into this, dude. Actually, you know who the friend is? Nelmo. Nelmo was over. So yeah. And his face was hilarious. He was like, what the hell am I watching? And I got to experience it with another person, and I liked it even more. And then next week, another friend, I was going to see her at her place. I was like, oh, let's do a movie night. And obviously I was like, okay, there was this movie. I did the whole thing again. And she was less impressed because, okay, whatever. Yeah, I know this is like a Rajnikant kind of movie. I see what they're doing. Oh. And yeah, she went in there with really low expectations, but again, completely blown away. I think she was a bit more subdued than Nelmo was, but again, completely blown away. And then after that, I watched again and again and again, and yeah, now I'm like 8 views into it, and I'm appreciating so much more with each view. It's not like a movie I'm watching just for the set pieces. Set pieces are good, don't get me wrong, but there are so many layers that I did not notice the first couple of times because I was just so blown away by just the surface level, extravagance of the film.
Well, see, here's the thing. I mean, we might get into it a bit more when you discuss, and you might have seen and proved me wrong from your, numerous viewing. Yeah. But apart from the one aspect that we'll get to, whenever I watch a movie, I'll watch it. And I guess it's because I love movies and I love storytelling so much, and I keep an eye on it. And then I'm like, that scene doesn't make sense. Okay, I guess when you were trying to say it, you thought this scene would make sense, but then when you watch it again and now that you know the story, you're like, yeah, this doesn't make sense. You know how The Sixth Sense, where, spoiler again, we find out Bruce Willis is dead. Yeah?
How dare you spoil Sixth Sense for me?
Oh my God. After how many years? 99, bro? But the thing is, if you watch that movie again knowing that he's dead, you can still watch it. And every scene still makes sense because they don't, ruin it. Like, oh, that doesn't work.
Like the Bruce Willis ghost does have shadows a bunch of times, which the shadow should not be there. But whatever. I'm going to forgive that. But sure, it makes sense.
I'm talking about the connection or just the communication with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the thought process, and they're like, oh, that can't happen, that comes. So when you watch it again, you're like, yeah, I can still see. Yeah, I can still see why we're getting this idea, but he's still dead, bro. So when I'm watching movies like that, I'm like, yeah, that scene doesn't make sense. Here, I didn't find that.
No.
It might be I missed some scenes. I didn't find anything where when you watch it again, oh, that doesn't make sense, or that doesn't fit in, continuity error. I didn't find none of that. There's just one thing the entire movie, I have one issue with it, which we'll get to. But apart from that, I haven't seen any of that. This is where I'm saying that he's done so well. He's paid attention to every single scene in the movie. and he moves on, and he's paid meticulous detail to, okay, does this work? And he followed it through.
I agree. I completely agree. I mean, I would love to be a bit more critical. I will try to be a bit more critical as opposed to just doing a love fest on Rajamouli and Triple R. But yeah, it's going to be hard for me to be critical because this movie just works on every level. Okay, before we get into the proper... Say again?
There's two things I've got critical issues with. I'm going to be critical.
Good. We need a balance, man. We can't just be like, oh my God, this movie is amazing. 10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. We need some kind of critical analysis of it. But before we get into the movie, let's talk about the weird reaction this has gotten from the rest of the world. This is like Sholay level, dude. I mean, honestly, in my lifetime, I've never seen the rest of the world be this taken by an Indian film. Like maybe Three Idiots. Three Idiots was kind of a success. Like everybody was talking about Three Idiots around the world. Like it was a big hit in Japan, Korea.
Yeah, they made their own version, didn't they? Even Mexico, Latin America, bro. Even they made their own version of it.
Yeah, apparently the remake sucks, but it is fine. Because I thought Three Idiots was a very Indian story. Like it's a very Indian story, and it's a silly story as well. Because what's the guy's name who made the film, dude? Jesus.
Oh, Rajkumar Hirani.
Rajkumar Hirani. Yeah, Rajkumar Hirani kind of works in he does melodrama. For anyone who hasn't seen 3 Idiots, I'm going to ruin like a very stupid thing about it, like towards the end. But the movie was completely grounded throughout the entire freaking runtime. And then in the end, the baby is saved because they say all is well.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay. Just no, man. Rajkumar Hirani just does some weird shit that I'm not into. But somehow it hit people in the emotional chord. RRR, the closest thing I can say this connects to is Sholay. Like I know I've met Iranian people to this day. If they're over the age of 35, they would bring up Sholay to me, dude. They were like, "Oh man, I grew up watching Sholay. Sholay is one of the greatest things."
I went to Egypt long time ago, and as soon as they saw us, brown people, you know.
Sholay.
I was watching. Everyone just kept saying that to me. I was watching. I'm like, why are you keep saying I was watching to me? They're like,
love it.
Yeah, we love Amitabh. I was watching. And then they thought we were Indian, so I'm like, fine. If that's going to give us better service and make sure we don't get ripped off, Indian.
Yeah, dude, just say he's my uncle. How the hell are they going to?
So the whole thing, we were like, anyone we see, I was watching. And they're like, I was watching. And then that's it, man. It was great. And we even got like a cab driver that was our local cab driver for the entire duration, and he didn't rip us off. Nice respect. Oh, because
that's the power of art, man. Like, so okay, my name is Agni, right? So I went into a cab the other day, and obviously the Uber driver knew my name is Agni. And as soon as I sat down at the back of the car, he said, "Oh, your name is Agni. There's this movie called Agnipath. Have you heard of it?" It's Afghanistani dude. Like he grew up watching Amitabh movie, and he's like that's in the forefront of his name. And Agni isn't a common name that you see. And he's like, have you heard about this? Like, yeah, man, I've heard about Agnipath.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
I guess right there, I would need to cut you off and say, if everyone likes this and they want to see more, the next one I would talk about is remakes, and I want to compare the old Agnipath with the new Agnipath and how remake should be done correctly.
I have not seen the new Agnipath, man.
Oh.
So it'll be interesting for me.
That'll be a good talk because you haven't seen it, and then we can have a proper conversation. Because remakes in India or remakes in anywhere, man, I'm just... Oh, that's another argument, bro. I'm passionate about
there's an art to a remake. But okay, let's go back to the actual reception. So how do you feel about this? Like Indian film, like a triple R, becoming this successful?
Bro, it was everywhere. Even to the point where I watched, I'm a big movie fan, so I would like to watch these YouTube channels that talk about movies, purely about movies. And there's one channel that does movie box office, every week. And they talk about what's in it. And when they said triple R, they call it triple R, and they go, it's actually called RRR. It made it, it's making a huge wave across America. It's an American podcast. And they're like, it makes a huge wave. And I'm like, what? And then you watch other podcasts where, people are, these are English people, American people, and even Mexican people. And they're like, there's a new film. It's called RRR. You need to go and watch it. It's a spectacle. It's one of the best movies of the year. It's blowing minds, and you need to be able to watch it in subtitles, but it's worth it. You need to watch it. Oh, just the sheer intensity, just the sheer emotion. I'm like,
Yeah. So in the beginning, I wasn't sure if they're watching it in an ironic way, because you know how Americans have this way of not really liking a movie but still really loving it. Like the latest example
Yeah.
could be Morbius. Like they got Morbius back in cinema because they ironically liked it because it was so bad. So I couldn't tell if this was ironic liking. But the more I listened to the reviews, I read the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes and Letterboxd, people are getting it. It's not like they're liking it because it's so ridiculous. Like I remember when Crouching Tiger came out, they hadn't seen anything like that in the Western world, so it kind of blew up. Everybody loved it because wire work like that had never been seen before. I think this is that level. Melodrama like this has not been seen before. So I think they're getting the spirit of the movie. And then,
well, I think it's also because everyone nowadays, especially with the pandemic, and I had to bring this up for everyone. Not talking too much about the pandemic, but just overall, the fact that we were stuck at home and we had nothing to do but watch content.
Yeah.
Everyone just realized, and I guess had grown a more appreciation of actual storytelling.
Yeah.
Because so much you just watch it, like, wow, man.
I think that's what's important, right? Like they're used to being the same old stories being told in a different guise. Like Marvel, I love Marvel. I'm a big Marvel guy. I love everything that they do, no matter how crap it is. But you can kind of tell where they're going with everything. So I feel like I watch Marvel for almost nostalgia at this stage, which sounds quite stupid because Marvel is still coming out. There's nothing to be nostalgic about. But at the same time, it reminds me of, more innocent time when I was younger, reading comic books and watching X-Men on Cartoon Network or whatever. So I'm kind of liking Marvel from that level, but I know what's coming. There is not going to be many surprises in Marvel movies.
Process, bro, and but the thing is that it's that same thing. The formulaic is now getting bad to the point where now, this year alone, the Marvel movies have not really been.
Yeah. So I think when this movie comes into their life, they just can't believe what they're watching. First of all, because it's so, a novel and unique. They haven't seen anything like this before in the Western world. And I think the package itself has everything in it. So it has a bit of drama, a bit of comedy, a bit of melodrama, hell of a lot of action. And then it leaves you feeling like, it's a proper meal. It's not like a little McDonald's burger. This is like going to a restaurant and enjoying a full meal and being satisfied.
I mean, he's taken a concept and he didn't just deal with it like saying, oh, forget it. Nothing needs to be serious. Nothing needs to be realistic because I've just made it up. We all know when the movie came, when it was announced that these two freedom fighters never met.
I had never heard of Valerie Sitaram Rao or Komram.
I've never heard of them. I just first followed it like saying these two I've never met. They're just from different periods and just put together. So you could have just easily said, look, I'm just bringing them together and I can just make a whatever movie, not pay too much attention because you all know it's not real.
Yeah.
But you don't get that. Once you're watching the movie, you dive in, you would not know that these two have never met.
Yeah.
He decided to treat the story as it is. I mean, we all know stories are fictional. Yeah, whether it's based on real people or not. Stories are fictional, but it's how you treat them.
Yeah, the emotional truth of the story.
If you don't treat the characters as proper characters and just think, who cares? I guess it comes down to the disbelief.
Yeah.
We can either put some gravitas into it or we can just forget them and just make a movie.
And clearly it worked because the Western audience does not know about these two people. They barely know about the freedom struggle in India. I mean, the British Raj is like a new term for them. And I've heard so many reviews. It's adorable, man. It's like people going so hard and trying to describe the difference between Bollywood and Tollywood and all that stuff. I mean, look, I'm going to say this right now. I do not give a crap about that distinction because I grew up in the 90s India. And in the 90s, we used to use Bollywood as a term to be, how can I put this? Not insulting, but Bollywood was a term for crap films. We said like, oh, that's just a Bollywood film. You know what I mean? So it's like a masala film, got item numbers. That's not real film. So everything we said was Bollywood was crap. But proper Indian films. So for example, Satyajit Ray, technically, is from Bengal. So it's called Tollywood as well. It's the same because it's from a place called, And anyway, I really don't want to get into that. So from Bengal, it's also called Tollywood. But we never look at Satyajit Ray films as Bengali film. It's Indian film because it just transcends everything. Like this is a different kind of art form we're making right now. So in the same way, I don't want to distinguish between Tollywood and Bollywood and whatever would. It's just Indian films, and they're all influenced by each other. There's no way you can say RRR was not influenced by movies like Sholay, Zanjeer, things like that came before it. So for me, it's just Indian filmmaking. And Rajamouli would be the first person to admit that himself. So I'm glad that he told the story in such a way, even if you know nothing about these characters, you know nothing about the history of Indian films, you can still enjoy it completely by itself. But yeah, I'm just very impressed that the Western audience got what Rajamouli was going for, man. So yeah, let's see. This can be quite positive for Indian films in general, and if it gets a bit more of a notoriety outside of India, maybe the standards of Indian film will get higher.
I partially agree with you. I partially think that there is always going to be people out there who are just making crappy Indian movies. Because all they know is once we make a movie, it goes out, we're going to make some sort of return on it. Who cares? Yeah, of course. They're never going to focus on it. Even though this was exceptionally executed and thought through properly, I just don't have that much faith in, as we say.
No, it's going to give people the motivation to up their game. That's all I'm hoping, man. It's just going to, when Quentin Tarantino came out, a lot of people started copying Quentin Tarantino. Most of the copies were terrible, but some of them were good. That's all I'm expecting. I don't expect everyone to get the budget of Rajamouli, obviously, but at least they can learn the right lesson.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the budget. I'm just thinking, the meticulous attention to detail and attention to storyline and putting the characters first rather than putting acting first. And unfortunately, in Bollywood, let's face it, it's like this is an Akshay Kumar movie.
Yeah,
this is a Shah Rukh movie, and the worst criminal of all.
Don't say it. Don't say Bhai's name.
Why? He's gonna do something to me?
There are lots of Bhai fans out there.
Okay, I won't say the name, and I'm pretty sure when people watch this, if they put in the comment, this is how we know if anyone's listened to this.
Yeah.
Why am I talking about?
Yeah. He has some fans that are diehard, man. So I'm not even going to mention his name. It's like Voldemort right now. But okay, cool. Enough about the state of Bollywood, which is terrible. Again, I'm happy to call his films Bollywood because again, it's not good. So whenever we see a good movie, I mean, this is a masala film. And so I'm completely okay with them making masala film as long as it's good. Because Sholay is a masala film, dude. Like, I have no problem with Sholay. I love Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om is a ridiculously stupid, over-the-top film. But I like the spirit of that film. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with them making movie for the masses as long as they get the spirit of the storytelling right.
Yeah, as long as they don't, go too over the top and just like, okay, here we're going to be realistic, grounded. Here we're going to just completely lose the scale.
Yeah,
like, come on.
Yeah, and just stick to good storytelling, and I will forgive most things, man. That's pretty much my rule when I'm going into a film. But okay, let's do this, man. Let's go into spoilers for Triple R.
Here's a spoiler alert. Don't tell me what it is.
I don't want to know. Yes, you do.
Boom! Spoiler alert.
All right. You start, man. You start. So tell me about your first experience. When you shot the first shot, like none of the action set pieces, what was that experience like for you?
I was just, waiting for, I didn't know what to expect. This is the first thing I would say. I went in, I didn't know what to expect. So at first I'm thinking, when is the story going to start? And as I'm watching it, I'm like, that thought went away and I was just focusing on the character and I was just going along with them. And I was seeing how it was introduced and I'm just like, wow, the setting is nice. And just the way everything was, the world was being shown. I'm like, I'm liking this. And that's how I got into it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to see how it goes. And I'm just like, forget it. Because I've seen Junior NTR movies. I know what to expect from his brand. I know what to expect from Ramchand's brand. And these are like, big stars who make action movies and they're known for, their actions and their dialogue. And even then, I'm like, it's subtle, but I'm just watching it. And then, oh my God. Just when it kicks in, I'm like, brilliant. I mean,
What was
put it
that
this way,
bit? What was the bit that kicked in for
it
you?
was
When did
just the entry scenes of each of them, man. I'm like, damn.
I was like, the first thing that caught my attention was when that woman got hit on the head with the freaking branch. I was like, what am I watching right now? Because that is not a common way to start an Indian movie. You do not kill someone. I mean, it turns out that she wasn't dead in the end in the post-credit scene, but I thought she was dead. Like that branch got destroyed, so I assume her skull got destroyed. When that happened, I was like, okay, all right, we're going hard with the violence. And then it happened. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the triple R's. Okay, so we have the story, we have the fire, and then we have the water. I mean, we all know why it was called RRR, so I'm not going to get into that, but that was like completely forced. Like none of those words start with the freaking letter R. They were like, we'll just fit that R into story right there. Yeah, story R. Yeah, okay, that R goes there. What I liked was Rajamouli kind of went, look, the story is not that important. The story is just this bit, okay? It's literally going to take place in 5 minutes. This is the whole story. There's a little girl who gets kidnapped, and then that's it. Moving on. That's how efficient he is with the storytelling.
Yeah, but hold on. You know why it's called Triple R, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, okay, in case the audience does not know Triple R, why it's called Triple R is freaking hilarious, man.
See, when we three
Ours
of us
came
decided to make a movie, we need to give it something for a reference. People can't, whether it's the media or we or in between the team, we can't always start saying, okay, in the movie where Tarak and Charan are acting and Rajamouli is directing, they can't refer to the movie like that. There has to be some kind of simple this thing.
Right.
So for that we put that hashtag RRR. For the reference sake, our idea was not to name it. But within days, people have decided that that's the title. The fans, the audiences, the media, everyone started referring it as RRR as if it's the title. Then we thought, okay, maybe if they're thinking,
let's go.
Obviously, we can't go name it Ramara, Rajamouli, Ramcharan. We can't name the movie like that. So we came up with the small subheadings.
Did you have a working title?
That's what the idea was. It was a working title.
No. RRR was the work. No, as in when you were writing a draft.
Even before that.
Okay.
Even before that, when I was telling you, when the thought of okay, let's
the three of you
let's
come
have
together.
a multi-star, a friendship between the stars. When the idea started itself, I sounded it to them. At the time, the story was not a little bit different, a different story. Then itself, we thought it's RRR.
Just for public demand, they decided to call it RRR. Then they had to force rise, roar, revolt, and then
But it worked though. I'm like, at least they came up with something.
I mean, yeah, kind of. I mean, come on, dude. It's a bit forced. No, it's a bit. I mean, I will forgive it, whatever. But it's not a good marketing name. It's a great marketing name in India, or not even India. In South India, if you know all those three people, you know what the movie's called. But outside of India, when I saw the name RRR, I was like, what the fuck is this? This is what? How am I supposed to say this? I just didn't have any clue. But I will forgive that because the movie is so good. Whatever. But anyway, the forcing of the R into story, forcing of the R into fire, forcing of the R into water, I was like, what are we doing here? This is silly. But the second time I watched it, dude, there's so much information in that first scene. So the first scene starts with a little girl singing a song. The first time I watched it, cute little song, whatever. Second time I watched it, that song tells you so much. Tells you that she's singing about the mother, she's singing about nature, and she's singing about what it's like to live in the wild, free, listening to birds singing, lying on the mother's lap. You can tell the connection that the kid has with the mother and the forest in general, and that gets that across. And the next
freedom in general, because all of that is basically free in the wild.
Yeah, the appreciation of life, appreciation of everything that's around. And the next shot you see is that Scott guy coming in and killing a bunch of deers. So quickly, Rajamouli also shows, whereas these guys really appreciate life, these people do not. They're like indiscriminately killing. It's not like one deer. He's killed like freaking a dozen deers and just like threw them on the floor as trophies. So again, disregard for life completely. And he sets that up only to go onto the next part of the scene where they just take that kid away, like completely disconnecting him.
But this is where it comes down to the art of storytelling.
Exactly.
show,
So efficient.
tell, but also you don't have to do everything verbally. So
Exactly.
the song, that's using a different medium.
Yeah.
And if you listen to it, you know the meaning. Then the visual, just action speaks louder than words.
Beautiful.
Just the way he did it. And I'm like, that's the beautiful thing. And the thing is, he's introduced both the pros and cons, and he's introduced both the character sides, and then you can see what the film is fighting against. Just the introduction there.
Yeah. And then the monologue comes of that Scott guy, which is repeated 3 times, which is the price of an English bullet.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Cheesy as hell, but beautiful. I love that line. It's so over the top. It just shows how cruel he is, how insignificant he thinks life is around him. And he gets that across through that one line. And that tells you about that character so quickly and then efficiently and moves on.
Yeah.
Easy
Total
as that.
disregard for any Indian life.
Yeah.
It's not even worth wasting a bullet on.
Yeah.
Piece of metal.
Lovely. Yeah. Like a simple shorthand way of showing this is the bad guy. Just in case you had any doubt, this is the bad guy. All right, moving on. That's it. And then he goes to the fire sequence. So, okay, let's talk about the fire sequence. That's the action sequence, right? So this is where I was a bit worried. So as soon as Ram Charan did that freaking Prince of Persia Assassin's Creed jump over the barrel, I was like, oh, okay, so we are watching Singham. So this is a Singham type movie. All right, I guess, that was too much to hope for, that it won't be over the top. As soon as he goes into the crowd, the music cuts off. It's no music. You just hear crowd noise and how he is just bashing their heads in with that stick. And if there was music, music kind of tells the audience how to feel, right? Is it supposed to be heroic? Is it supposed to be sad? But Rajamouli taking the music out puts the onus on the audience to be like, okay, you thought Ram Charan was a hero. He looks like a hero. He looks like a leading man. But now he's fighting against his fellow man. How are you supposed to feel about it? I won't tell you how you're supposed to feel about it. I will take the music out completely. And then it goes into the crowd. You know the scene where everyone kind of piles onto him? And as that happened, I assumed we were going to get the famous superhero shot. In Bahubali, whenever someone comes up to someone, you kind of go, yeah, and he stands up and all the people burst out. I was waiting for that to happen. But then he doesn't do that. He stays in there. He stays in the pile of crowd. And we hear him come out of it in a very, I wouldn't say realistic, but maybe realistic. He takes them out one by one, breaks one's hand, I think, twists one's ear, and he comes out of it in a way that seems realistic. And it also seems like it was a struggle for him to get out of it. So he's not a superhero. He's very, how can I put it? He's not immortal. He's vulnerable.
He's got conviction, though. He's got pure conviction in what he believes is right. And the way he's been groomed. So again, you could just basically relate back to the enemy, which is the English.
Exactly.
This is what they've turned our people into. But at the same time, it's like, what you were saying about the music. The thing is, music in movies is used to, help people, subconsciously feel and set the mood and setting. But here, you didn't want to set none of that mood because everyone knows Ram Charan as the hero. He's bigger than life actor who's always the hero in his movies. He's powerful. He's strong. Throw that out the window, man. Well, even the music gives it away, though. It's a spoiler, unfortunately, because what music are you need to do? An entry music?
Exactly.
So, no. We don't want you to feel. We want you to see and let your own emotions kick in.
Yep.
Brilliantly done, me. And even then, I was like, what? I'm like, bro, even I was screaming at the screen when I saw that. I'm like, what? I hate you. I hated him. And I'm like, man, I hope he dies.
See, at no point did I think Ram Charan was a bad guy. That guy is too charismatic and good looking. I don't even know Ram Charan, dude. This is the first time I've seen this dude. But I knew he had a backstory that will explain everything, right? So there was no point. I just thought, oh my God, he's a bad guy. That never occurred to me. But what I liked about the Rajamouli way of storytelling, going back to the crowd again, the crowd, if you notice, is completely muted colors, right? So it's almost like a zombie horde. They have no face. They have no identity. So it's very similar to the way Avengers do their action sequence. So if you look at Endgame, you don't give a shit if you're killing a bunch of insect people. Like, you know what I mean? There's no connection to it. So Rajamouli does a similar thing where it's kind of a zombie horde, but at the same time, because the music isn't so loud, you can hear what these people are thinking and how they're feeling. And because of the words that they say to the Ramcharan character, you know how we're supposed to feel towards Ramcharan. So they shout things like, you're a traitor, how can you do this? You know, blah, 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 blah. All of that stuff is happening. So we are learning from the crowd how to feel for the Ramcharan character. But the best thing is, the Sardar who throws that rock, he's the only one dressed in red. I love that choice because that is how the Ramcharan character is seeing his target. So once he's focused on his target, he's relentless. So if you see that scene, you will notice all the people are jumping on him, but his eyes, his vision is set on that dude. He is not looking anywhere else. He is like, he's going for his target no matter what comes in his way. And that is such a beautiful way to just, I mean, the character entry is cool, but it's also telling the story of what is going to happen in the future. Like we are finding out everything about that character through the character entry. And my favorite part is that he doesn't say a single word in the entire entry sequence. It's a completely silent film. You can watch that entire scene with the music turned off, and you will understand everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, this is what you have to give the acting of Ramcharan. When you look at his facial expression when he's making those movements, it shows he's struggling, but he's still got the conviction to go because he's got a purpose.
Yeah.
And the way you said it, you know, even the guy in the red is, again, this is what comes down to, even in this movie, they paid attention to the costume tutorial. It's not about being period piece where it's, costume correct and accurate. Mm-hmm. But no, it's costumes are also colors.
Yeah.
And even there, you know, they painted that guy. It's almost like, hate to say this, man, bringing it down. We're going to talk about movies. Where's Wally?
Yeah, this is Where's Wally the movie. You're right.
Yeah, where's Wally? There he is in red. Get him. Yeah. You know, you can't move. You just know. And at the same time, you know, he's painted a bullseye and he told you what the target is without actually speaking to you. You know who's the target, and that's where he's going to get. So brilliantly done.
We spent an hour talking about just the opening sequence of those two. And another favorite part of mine was when the rock gets thrown at that picture of I think is King George V, one of the Georges. I don't know. Anyway, the guy who says, "Bring me that man." You can hear that his conviction goes away in that sentence. So his knee-jerk reaction is, "Arrest that man." Then he goes, "And bring him to me."
Yeah.
he just kind of loses the conviction of his word because he's like, there is no way anyone is going to be able to get that man here. But then obviously, you know, he does. And my favorite way of ending that scene is when he does bring that Sikh dude and throws him onto the feet of that general guy. The Sikh dude is not scared of the English at the stage. He just looks at Ramcharan going, "What the hell are you?" So he's not even scared of the English at the stage. He's scared of that guy. And I love that. Again, just visuals. Nothing gets said. And obviously the pièce de résistance, the cherry on top of that scene, you would think after that action sequence, he would take leave of absence for the next couple of weeks. No. He goes back to his post, ready to fight again, I guess.
You know, one thing that made me laugh right after that, and I know most people are like, "Why did you laugh?" It's what I've been hearing recently. Because I've been watching a lot of movie videos and other, and one of the things I found out is a lot of the special effects, BFS houses that Hollywood movies use are basically outsourced to India.
Yeah, of course.
So most of the so that why? Because Indian people are some of the hardest workers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, bang on, mate.
Yeah. There's a lot of us out there, man. There's a lot of us out there. But it's kind of funny that it's special effects. We are not there yet, man. I mean, we will get to this in the next. Actually, let's just get to the next scene because the NTR Ramarao entrance. I mean, there was something else I want to say before the NTR thing, but the tiger
go ahead.
It's not good. It's okay. I mean, I will give it a solid 6 and 7 out of 10. But we know how a tiger moves, and that special effect does not make it look realistic. But I forgive it. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh my God, that completely took me out of the scene. It did not. But for the split second I saw the tiger jump, I was like, yeah, the lighting isn't right. It's not quite there yet.
See, I think you're looking at it from a Western point of view, bro. Yeah, I don't mean to judge you, but you're looking from. I'm looking at it from India. But don't get me wrong, it's nowhere near the Jungle Book.
Yeah, of course not. Yeah,
but
they could
compared
have
to
done it.
Bahubali and the elephants,
Yeah, of course. I
and
mean,
even the bull, this was
yeah.
so much better.
Yeah, okay, yeah. But again, if we're playing at the level of the best films out there, I'm not going to give this a pass. I'm going to point out everything that's wrong. This wasn't. And the tiger was there for how long? Maybe 2-3 minutes? They could have given it to someone who could have just kind of spent the entire 2 years working on just the tiger motion and the tiger lighting and all that stuff. But fair enough. You know what? It was fine. It didn't take me out of the movie. But
I realized in life is the creative departments when it comes to design and marketing. No one values those people until the last minute.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sorry, man. I come from a background from that, so do you. No one values us at the end. It's just like, we've done it. Now you've got this much time before we have to meet the deadline, and
it's afterthought. Yeah, it's complete afterthought. Yeah. It's a shame. I mean, there are so many stories out there in Hollywood of how many, those special effect houses have shut down, and they've had like huge successful movies. I think the Life of Pi guys who made the Life of Pi movie, I think they won an Oscar, but by the time the year was out, they were out of business because they just didn't have enough money. Because this takes a lot of work, dude. But yeah, that work is not appreciated, so that's why slowly.
Yeah, it's just like at the beginning of this podcast when we were talking about the Black Panther.
Yeah,
even the people that worked on the visual effects, it's like, we had 2 weeks to do that because they changed the last minute on how they wanted the fight sequence to go.
Yeah.
You get what you pay for, bro. You get the time you give.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. If these kind of movies get more popular, maybe these kind of houses will get more respect and slowly they will get the money.
I'm sorry. I don't agree with that, bro. The reason why I say that is look at the Michael Bay movies, man. Look at the Transformers movies.
Yeah, I don't watch them, so I don't know.
Well, anyone who watches them, I'm pretty sure they would agree, or you can put it down in the comment section. First movie, the special effects, the attention to detail, the robots look brilliant. As the movies go along, they made more money. He had a bigger budget. They just didn't look that good, bro. They just didn't. And the same thing he did with the Turtle movies, man. So big budget movies, look at the Marvel movies, man. Big budget movies, and wow, they still have bad visual effects.
Yeah, it's a shame, man. Again, visual effects should be used as part of the story. So again, so let's get back to the NTR scene, because we can talk about the state that movie industry is in, and it will just make us sad. But let's talk about something fun. So the NTR scene, the water scene. So in the fire version of the scene, we just get introduced to the character, right? So the first shot is a crowd of people, and then everyone falls down. One person stands strong, and the camera focuses on him, and we get introduced to this guy. But what Rajamouli does for the water sequence is we almost get an introduction to this character before we ever see the character. Because he didn't have to do that. He could have just gone straight from fire to water, just to juxtapose the two visuals. But in this one, that Indian dude is telling that English dude about, maybe you should give the kid back, because if you don't, there is this man who's going to come and get you. So he sets this guy as this big badass. And then we get introduced to the character. I love the shot, the upside down shot, the water. Beautiful.
It's beautiful. Oh my God.
Okay, Paul, it's a great stylistic shot, but it also has storytelling elements to it, because he is water. You know what I mean? Like, I will get into why he's water, etc. later. But again, the way the Ramcharan character is introduced is through fire as well. Literally, I think the mashal. What's the English word for mashal? The light torch, whatever, gets hit on the gate, and then through that fire we see him. The same way, first time we see the NTR character, again, needs to be through his element, just to be like, this is not just a cool fire water thing that we're doing. We're trying to explain that's what their personality is like. So we get that beautiful thing. But interestingly, Ramcharan character is introduced in a close-up. So he's very internal. He's very locked into his personality, whereas NTR's character is reflected with his environment. So he is not just water. He is a part of the forest environment as well. So he's not shot in a close-up. He's shot in a wide shot. Beautiful. Love it. And then, oh man, dude, the wolf scene. I can write an essay on the wolf scene. It's done so well. Okay, so in the beginning, we have no idea what the hell is happening. The blood, I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then as soon as the wolf comes in, I was like, oh, interesting. He makes himself the bait. So he's not going to bait the wolf by anything else. And then the bait thing happens. And I had never seen NTR Ramarao, by the way. Don't know this dude from Adam. Yeah, never seen him. Don't know anything about him. Didn't have any expectations of him. In this freaking 2 seconds, I knew he was a great actor, because as he's running away, he sees the footprint and he does this quick expression, just noticing the footprint and then looking around him. I think the scene lasts for less than 2 seconds. And in that tiny expression, I realized that, oh crap, there is another animal out there. Oh crap, I was not expecting this. Oh crap, I'm in trouble. In that 2 seconds, he conveys all of that. Beautifully done. Okay. And then it gets better. As he's running away, we see, like water, how adaptable he is. So even though things go wrong, he's willing to flow with it. And he changes his plan quickly. And then he's running. And I love how the tiger is shown running at tiger speed as well. Beautiful. Like he obviously can't freaking outrun a tiger. He barely makes it to the trap. And again, beautifully told here, is that just before, actually, I'm going to come back to this, but this line is very, very important. Just before he reaches the trap, we hear someone say, it's not a wolf, it's a tiger. Okay? So we know that they were waiting for the wolf in case there was any doubt, in case you miss NTR's acting. They just want to make sure they set the trap for a wolf, not a tiger. So when the tiger does get captured in it, the trap is not strong enough to hold a tiger. So it breaks. And then we see how quickly he's adapting. And, even when that stupid friend who's trying to help him with the potion that knocks out the tiger throws it in a wrong way, he still jumps, catches it, and then he throws it. NTR just shows that he's willing to just go with the flow. But okay, let's talk about the foreshadowing that he does, what Rajamouli does here. So the foreshadowing that's in the scene is that the wolf represents the British people and tiger represents Ramcharan. So the trap that they have set for the wolf is not the enemy in the end. They think they're fighting one enemy, but a bigger enemy comes in. And that's what the story is all about.
Yeah, the thing is, every scene, there's a symbolism that goes in. This is what I love about it. The symbolism all the way through it is he's giving you nuggets of what the story is. And the thing is, this is what I like about it, as you were saying, that he keeps the theme continuously. He understands the theme of the movie, and he always tries and sticks to it and always tries and show it. So every time,
both in visuals as well as dialogue as well as music.
See, this is a movie that everyone should be studying in media studies.
Absolutely. It sounds stupid. It sounds ridiculous, but it's so true. So the Bean character screaming at the lion is a badass shot, dude. Beautiful shot. It shows how powerful he is. But that's not the point of that shot. The point of the shot is later on during the Kumaram Bhimo song, when NTR is facing off Ramcharan. It's the exact same shot. You see what I mean? So he's basically reflecting that shot later on, and even subconsciously, the audience knows this now. So
when you see that shot, the emotion comes back in. This is just the thing about this guy. He's constantly thinking forwards and backwards at the same time. He's like, that shot is going to happen there. So here you need to be prepared.
Yeah.
But when I get to that step, he's going back and forth, maybe.
Yeah. And I can't believe I'm going to say this about this film. This movie is not subtle. This movie is not subtle at all. But at the same time, it's so freaking subtle. Like there was so much stuff happening under the layer that you would never see unless you watch this movie like 3 or 4 times and just analyze it.
This is a repeat. This is one of those movies where the repeated watching value is there.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why, Hollywood makes so much money on movies is not because there's so many people going to see it. I mean, let's face it, only about 10% of audiences go and watch movies in cinemas. But the way they make money is because people see it so many times.
Yeah.
This is a movie you need to see so many times because there's always a new nugget that you get. And not even that, you get a better appreciation of something that you've already seen. And you're like, I see what it is. Because there's always new fits. Because the human brain is complex. It takes in everything, but then it releases different emotions at different times. You know, your brain will watch it again and again, and you will not be disappointed.
Yeah. But the weird thing is, even if you don't engage the movie at that level, in an analytic level, like the way we are, we don't have to analyze the film if we don't want to. We can just enjoy the film on a surface level. It works on all levels. You can just watch it without knowing anything. You don't have to analyze this film at all, and the emotions are still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
It's a discovery. It's a discovery. I mean, you don't have to analyze it, but just from a discovery point of view, you're like, oh, the wolf, the tiger's there, and you just coming out in your brain. You don't have to analyze it. Your brain will be like, oh, the tiger's coming, so it's because of this. Oh, yeah, I like it. So again, even someone who doesn't analyze it, you can just pick up on something and you see something new. Because remember, when you're watching a movie, your attention span is focused on different elements.
Absolutely.
Now, again, your attention span will be applying on focusing on a different element, and then your brain does the rest where you like puts the connected tissue and you're like, you're not analyzing it, but you're like, oh, yes. Oh, I enjoyed it more.
I think discovering is better than analyzing. You're discovering new things about it. It's like meeting a person for the first time. You know, when you first meet them, you get a first impression. You're like, oh, that's what they're about. When you get to know them a little bit more, conversation, a bit deeper conversation happen. The person does not change. You're just discovering more things about them. Great art, great film is like that. You can just find more layers to it if you're willing to engage with it, and if that piece of art has the substance and the depth in it. It's great, man. So what do you think about the NTR introduction scene?
Oh, I just loved it. I was waiting for that because I'm more of an NTR fan.
Okay.
Hey, I like Ram. I like NTR.
Yeah.
I'm just a big fan of his, man. Anytime his movie's there, I have to watch it. It's just it lived up to what I expected because the intensity, the way he just lost himself. Because the other roles he's done are completely different. He just looking at the physicality, I'm like, because I saw him from early movies, man. I'm like, wow, he got in shape because he was not your typical actor, man. Like, who the hell gave him, movie career to be a leading actor? You know, when you see his early movies, I'm like, what? And then you're like, over the years he's changing. Like, here it's like complete transformation. But again, I didn't see Junior NTR. I just saw a character that was really, jacked up and also preparing to do what he was doing. And then as soon as I saw the blood coming out, I'm like, what on earth is he doing covering himself? And then you see the thing like, oh.
Yeah.
Now, again, the thing that I took away from that is whatever this guy is planning on doing, he's willing to put himself in harm's way just to get it done. So whatever his motives are, he believes in it 100%.
Yeah.
It's life or death to him because this was life or death.
Yeah. I loved it. There was everything about it. Yeah, completely. It just took me to a different level, man. And also what I liked about it is, whereas in the Fire introduction, Ram Charan's character is completely isolated. He does not speak to anyone. You don't see anyone in his family. Even the old man that comes in when he doesn't get the promotion, you just see his reaction. So you don't know any connection between Ram Charan's character and the old man. You find out later on that he's from the same village, but for now you have no idea who that random dude is. Whereas the NTR character, you see that he's part of a community. He's doing things together with other people. He's part of an environment. And that also tells you a lot more about the character. But the best thing is where the Fire story ends with Ram Charan punching the bag, the NTR part does not end with the jungle scene. We get to find out what he is like as an infiltrating character in the real world, because his job isn't to just be a big badass. His job is to infiltrate and get Mali back. And we find out like he is undercover, but at the same time, even though he's a complete badass, he's not going to, how can I put this? He's not going to break his character even though he could have beaten up that dude who was beating him up, he knows what the bigger purpose of his mission is, so he's subdued. And if that's when the scene ends. You get to find out the character has more layers. Where the
just his explanation is like, look, this guy is selfless.
Exactly.
Okay? He's not about him. It's about the overall goal, and it's about his people.
Exactly.
Yeah, because he's all about his people. He's all about his community. Yeah. So therefore, it doesn't matter what happens to him.
Yeah. And the best thing is, that's very similar to the Ram Charan thing, but we just don't know that yet. So even though it's fire and water, even though they're never going to meet, the best thing is fire and water is quite similar in a sense. Like they can unleash themselves. They can both create and they can both destroy. They can both kind of go with the flow, but at the same time, they can destroy everything through their, in their way. But on the surface level, they look like diametric opposites. But later on, we find out that, what Ram Charan is doing is the same thing. He is working for his community. Like he is doing this for his people. He's not doing this for selfish reasons, but we just don't know that. The way Rajamouli tells the story, he does not give us all the information straight away. He's slowly giving away the information.
That's what I guess I like so much about this, because after, spending, current situation without going into it, is, stuck at home watching a lot of content, is you realize how there's people that just shove it in your face. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. This is what's happening. We're trying to do this one, and it's all by dialogue. And I'm like, I don't want to see it. I would like to see it. Do me a flashback. Do me something like that. And here it's like he's not constantly beating you over the head with it. Telling you this is, but he's showing you in different forms. And that's the thing about it. It's a visual medium, but just because it's a visual medium doesn't mean it has to be visual all the time or has to be dialogues. You can show other stuff like with sounds, scene, visuals, scenery. So there's different elements that he's using. And he's using, I guess what you can say is he's like a kid in this sense where he's using all his toys.
Exactly. I was just about to say he's got more tools in his toolkit.
Exactly.
Than anyone else. He can use visuals, he can use music, he can use song, he can use action, he can use drama, he can use the great actors at his disposal just to show the expression on their face. He's not limited to anything. The way I described to one of my friends was, this is unshackled filmmaking. Like he does not give a crap about what tradition of filmmaking is in the West, even in the East for that matter. He is able to put both of them together and create something better, something that's greater than the sum of his part. And he does it in a way that I haven't seen anyone else do, really. It's beautiful. Okay, but I think there is one other thing that I really liked. I didn't notice it until like the fourth or the fifth viewing, is when the introduction scenes end and we go back to the British part of the storytelling, the first line that the British guy says is,
and that is the gist of it.
What I like about it is, after the introduction sequence, Rajamouli is literally telling the audience, that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. Like, there is a story, there is a fire, there is a water, these are the characters, that's the gist of it. And I love that. It's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, kind of a wink at the audience. Like, guys, like, that's literally the gist of it.
Yeah, it's like a fourth wall breaking without direct breaking the fourth wall.
I love that.
See, again, that's where it comes back to the mastery of his, director hat. It's like, I'm doing this, but the people who can pick it up can pick it up, and it subconsciously, but you might not pay too much attention, but it's there.
Yeah. He's not talking down to the audience. He's never talking down to the audience. He does not think he's better than the audience. He wants to have a communication with whoever is watching the film, in whichever way you get it. Absolutely beautiful.
This is where I think, he's one director that I've seen, with his movies. He focuses on the customer journey. Hate to bring it back to that, man. It's the journey that we follow as consumers, as viewers. He's paying attention to that as well as telling the story. But he's making sure the end target is always on his mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I made so much money. Because the audience appreciated it, and we watched it, and we followed through, and we enjoyed it.
Okay, so this brings us to the end of part 1 of our RRR review. And part 2, we're going to discuss and analyze this movie further, and we're going to talk about the bridge scene, we're going to talk about the Natu Natu dance sequence, we're going to talk about the famous party scene, and many other aspects of the movie, and of course my favorite, Komaram Bhimo
song/torture sequence. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please follow us on social media. If you want to see analysis of the same podcast that you just heard in a more visual format, go to YouTube. Just search for FilmBhais, and you will see pictures accompanying all the analysis that we did in this episode. Feel free to reach out to us at filmbhais@gmail.com, and as well as on Twitter and Instagram. This is a new project we have started, so any kind of feedback would be much appreciated. And do let us know what you thought about the analysis. Have we read too much into the movie, perhaps? Or maybe you don't think the movie deserves this kind of analysis. Obviously, we don't think so. We think this movie deserves all the analysis that we're giving it. But it'll be good to hear your thoughts and what other movies we should review. So, yes, I will see you in the next episode. Until then, take care of yourself. Peace. Bye.
पिक्चर अभी भी बाकी है भाई
One more thing. If you're still here, you've discovered an Easter egg. So, if you're wondering why the sound quality of my voice got so much better all of a sudden, it's because when we first recorded this analysis, we had no intention of doing this in an ongoing manner. It was just a bit of fun between friends because we just wanted to talk about RRR, really. We just weren't, well, I won't speak for Zan, but I was not expecting the movie to be as good as it was. But based on the reaction that we got on YouTube, I think people wanted more analysis like this. So we thought we will do this in a proper way going forward. So yeah, on the episode after this one, whatever we end up doing after RRR, you can expect audio quality similar to this one. So congratulations on being one of the first people to find this out. Give yourself a pat on the back. You've discovered an Easter egg.